want to get into a very interesting conversation with you and find out what your thoughts are regarding this issue that we're going to get right into. But let me just give you some context, right? We're going to open the phone lines and have you call us to share your thoughts. Do you support establishing paternity leave and extending maternity leave? Well, what am I talking about? So there's a private member's bill in Parliament, and if you go to the Parliament website, you'll find it there. The maternity leave extension bill. There are two bills: the maternity leave extension bill and the paternity leave bill. Now, paternity leave doesn't exist in Ghana as it stands, right? And so there's a private member's bill to establish paternity leave, which I think is very important. Now, some people would argue that the men will just take time off and go lounge, and not necessarily get involved with the initial stages in helping their spouse and so on. But, Chris, I don't know what your thoughts are on this thing before I read the bill.
Right. I actually think it's important, but I understand the concern too, but before we talk about the concern, I think we need to also talk about why it is important that the man is part of, that whole process. Yeah. Because a lot of times these things are left to women to deal alone. Do you understand? And at the same time, we also forget about, gender equality in the home. So. And also, men also complain about, why does a child grow up and then don't realize that, okay, I've done so much work in his life or something like that. And then they're always their mom. These are part of the issues. It's really important for us to talk about why it's important for the man to be
present
and be involved.
Yeah.
It also helps kids. It also helps the growth of kids and the way they think and the way they act outside. It also helps them in different ways. So if we maybe start to talk about those issues, the benefits that it actually helps in the families and in your kids, then maybe men will probably act right. If you're thinking that they won't act right.
Yeah. So anyway, let's take a look at what the bill is seeking. So here, this bill seeks to amend Section 57(1) of the Labour Act to extend the period of maternity leave from 12 weeks to 16 weeks, okay? Which is basically from 3 months to 4 months, all right? With the option of an additional 2 weeks, okay, of leave in case of a cesarean, okay, which I think is very important.
Yeah.
We take some of these things for granted. Stillbirth, which is very traumatic, and so that also makes sense. Or multiple births, which is also a different kettle of fish. Giving birth to one is very different from giving birth to two at the same time. So, and to provide for related matters. Of course, it's Honorable Francis Xavier Susu, who is a member of Parliament for Medina constituency, who is pushing this bill. At the same time, there's also the paternity leave bill, which is now a new bill that is being proposed. So the first one was the maternity extension bill, right? The extended leave bill. And this one is a paternity leave bill, which seeks to amend Section 20 of the Labour Act to introduce paternity leave for a minimum period of 7 days and a maximum of 4 weeks, with an option of an additional 2 weeks in the case of cesarean, stillbirths, or multiple delivery of spouse. Okay. Now, I personally believe that these are very important amendments that we need to make to our constitution. These are very important. The paternity bill, for example, is a very important one to bring into existence. As part of our law framework.
Sure.
Because for me, I was very involved in my daughter's first few days and the whole entire year after, Of course, the leave is talking about the first few days, so that's what I'm focused on. But I was right there, hands-on and very involved. And I think that is critical for us, and like you mentioned, for us to bring up the conversation within our society, for men to be more hands-on and more involved, right? So yes, there is a concern that men are not involved, and therefore, if you give them leave, they're just going to take their leave and abuse it and go and do other things with their leave, right? But I also think that you bring up the conversation, and you bring the conversation to the front burner to say that this is something that men can and should also be doing,
Yes.
supporting their spouses or partners, with the upbringing of the child,
Right.
especially in the first few days and weeks.
Right. And we never also talk about the health benefit that it will also impact on the man. Because right now, we cannot deny that it's getting harder and harder. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The world is getting harder and harder. We're facing economic hardship from left, right, and center.
Yeah.
So everybody cannot afford a house help.
True.
So if everybody cannot afford a house help, that means some men have to wake up in the middle of the night to help. So imagine waking up in the middle of the night to help because you're a nice person, because you're a caring man, and in the morning you still have to go to work.
Yeah.
That is burnout.
Yeah.
That is you going to be unproductive during the work time.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I think this will also, help curb the burnout that men face at work, especially during the times of, okay, I have a new baby, I have a new child at home.
Yeah.
You understand? And that can also help the man rest and then reset, his mind and then come back to work all refreshed.
Yeah.
And also, it will also, kind of like, curb the economic gap, especially when it comes to pay at work. Because most times people say, oh, the women go home and then sit at home because of the whole whatever. And
Yeah.
that's why a man needs to be paid better. And this has to, this is still under the whole gender inequality. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, all right, if you feel that women sit at home and then you need to be paid more better, all right, okay, so you too, go home and rest during that time too.
Yeah.
And help your family during that time too. So everybody is equally paid well. You understand?
Yeah.
So
I think one of the biggest blessings or potential blessings of this paternity leave thing, if it does get passed into law, is focus on parenting.
Yes.
Parenting. You see, because
and the child development,
yes,
very, very important.
Because you see, previously, and by the way, we open the phone lines now, so you can call us and let us know what you think about the conversation that we're having. Do you feel that the bill that that is in Parliament is something that should be passed? What's your thoughts on the extension of the maternity leave, from 3 months to 4 months, and an additional 2 weeks beyond the 4 months in case of certain, stillbirths, cesarean, and so on, and then the establishment of paternity leave? What are your thoughts on this? Do give us a call, 0204-447-033. Okay, we want to hear from you. Now, I believe that the man's role in a child's life is critical.
very critical.
Whether it's a boy or a girl, they need their father
True.
as much as they need their mother. There are different functions and different roles that either of the parents play, right? But they need their father as much as they need their mother. And so the paternity leave period acts as almost like a trigger for the man to remind you that you have a child.
Exactly.
You're on leave because of this
Yes.
child. You've gotten 7 days off because of this child, and start the process of bonding and creating the
Very,
parenting
very important.
cycle,
Exactly.
parenting juices to start flowing, in the man's system. Because it's very easy it's like, oh, my wife has delivered, and so she and the baby. What about you and the baby?
Exactly.
What happened to you and the baby, right? So it will become an issue about she and the baby. Do you get it? We have a caller from the central region. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning. I want to install maternity.
Do us a favor before you continue. Turn the volume of your TV down, okay? Turn off the volume of your TV and talk to us through the phone. All right, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, great. So, your name, please.
My name is Ekwe.
Come again?
Ekwe, I'm calling from Cape Coast.
Okay, all right. What are your thoughts?
Okay, maternity was for more than 2.
Sorry, we are losing you. I don't know if you can adjust where you're standing and all that so we can hear you better. Hello? All right, so we've lost our caller there, calling from Cape Coast. Please do try and call back, all right? Yeah, so I think it's critical. I was advised many years ago when my daughter was about to be born, you know, that it was important for me to be there at her birth. And to be very honest with you, I have a feeling that it created a bond between myself and my daughter in, you know, that's so strong that I wonder what it would be if I was not there, you know, when she was being born, you know. We don't live together. We haven't lived together for 10 years, you know, but when I hear stories from her aunties and uncles about the way she talks about her father, the father that she doesn't live next to her, she talks about her father, my dad and everything. I say, hey, are you the only one who has a father? You know, but for me, that bond was created very, very early.
Early, exactly.
Very, very early, you know, because she stopped living with me when she was just after her 4th birthday, you know, and so since then she hasn't lived with me. But that bond had already been created, you know, and I think that's very important. That stage, the initial birth and then the weeks following are very critical. You know, support your spouse also. Oh, she's been through 9 months.
Exactly.
Okay, of bearing this child. 9 months is very traumatic.
Right.
And then the birth process is even more traumatic. Listen, if you've never seen a woman give birth, oh man.
All right, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a caller from Ashaman, Nasiru. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks for calling in. How would you like to contribute?
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, please, can you, you know, reduce the volume of your TV?
Okay. Let me. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm reducing the volume.
Okay.
Yeah, please, is it okay?
Yes, reduce it completely and just talk to me through the phone.
Yes.
All right, Nasiru, how would you like to contribute to this? What are your thoughts?
Okay, yeah, you are talking about the paternity leaves and the maternity leaves.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it should be given because this is a case whereby the husband, maybe the wife gives birth to twins.
Yes.
And there is no one to take care of their child.
Yes.
Now you need to go and employ the service of another person, and you end up paying the person. So why don't at least the husband be around to be helping and assisting to do the work? At least the cost will reduce comparing you going out to go and look for someone to come and do it. And at the end of the day, maybe the person might not do the work very well.
Right.
But because it's an agreement, you end up paying the person based on the amount you agree to pay the person. So I think they should also give the men the chance to also assist the woman in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you
thank
for
you.
contributing.
Yeah.
I think that was a very good point because, like I said, things are getting harder every day. So people are learning to manage whatever they have. So imagine a family that is not making much. You wouldn't have money to employ someone else to come and help you. So obviously, he said that will actually help the family.
It's very true.
Yes, it's
I
true.
agree with that 100%. I think that's a very important thing for us to do, and I'm all in support of it. I mean, as many of us that can support this bill, and if we have MPs who are in Parliament, of course, it's Parliament that's going to vote on this, all right? So, if you have MPs who are in Parliament, influence them. You know, talk to them. It's important that they support this bill. Let's get it passed.
True.
I think it's
and then talking about childbirth, you were saying, you know, the experience you had, through watching your wife, your ex-wife give birth.
Yes.
For me, yesterday I actually saw a tweet that said, reminding people, whoever that is reading this, A cesarean section is actually a real and intense surgery.
Yes.
Because a lot of people call it the easy way, but it's
Yeah.
not the easy way.
Yeah.
And I'm talking from experience. Cutting 7 layers of your skin down there is painful. The healing process is painful.
Yeah.
Waking up and feeling like, oh my God, what's happening? Do you know you can't actually walk for like about 4 days, 3 to 4 days?
Yeah.
I couldn't walk.
yeah.
I felt paralyzed. I felt like, oh my God, what's happening to my leg?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can't even pee.
No, it's you see, I think it's easy to take it for granted when you're not involved, when you're not
Exactly.
there, when you're not by the person's side. It's easy to take it for granted. We have a caller from WA. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
Your name, please.
Sapo.
Sapo.
Sapon.
Yes, please.
Okay. Right. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this paternity leave thing has to be approved, to be granted to parents, fathers to be, because there are some women, when during pregnancy, they need special care. They go through a lot. It has to come with money, sicknesses, and others.
Yeah.
So for the husband to be around and support the wife, I think is very, very, very important. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What about the extension of the maternity leave as well? That's also another thing that you're working on, to extend it from 3 months to 4 months. What do you think of that?
I think that is perfect. It's very important. Yes.
Yeah.
I am thinking that if maternity leave will be extended to 6 months, paternity leave should be 6 months as well, so that they will have adequate time to cater for the unborn. Actually, maternity leave can be taken 3 months to delivery, so that the other 3 months, both parents will be around to actually take care of the newly born child.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. We really appreciate your thought. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
All right. So that was Sapon from WA.
That also makes sense.
Yeah.
That
3
also
months
makes sense.
before.
Yeah.
3
And then
months
2 months
after.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that also
But paternity, I think maximum 3 months is okay.
Yeah, I think 3 months
not
is
6
fine.
months is too long.
It's too much. It's too much. You still need to provide.
I know, right?
You still need to
How
go
are you
back
going
to
to
work.
provide for that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like I was saying, the whole cesarean process, the healing, it's still, I mean, it's something that needs to be talked about, because people really think it's an easy way. It's not an easy way out. At the end of the day, can you believe after 15 years, I still feel the pain? Yeah, you still feel the pain. All right, we have Abdul on the line joining us. Hi, Abdul.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm doing good.
All right.
Good morning.
You can contribute to the conversation.
Yes, please. I also want to add my voice that we should have a paternity leave.
Right.
I think that we should be able to afford the fathers the opportunity to appreciate what their wives go through.
Thank you.
During that period of childbirth. And more to the point is to let them understand very well what parenthood actually entails. I don't think it's just about providing for the mother and the baby,
right,
but also that emotional attachment right from the beginning. I think it should be there.
Right. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually have a question. He said husbands. So now, in the situation that you're not married,
I think that
what happens?
I think that it should be broadened.
Right.
Because we do the reality of our modern societal settings that there are people that are living together and not married, and that they are choosing to parent children and they are not necessarily married.
Exactly.
Right. And so we need to accommodate
everyone
them as well. Okay, because it's a conversation about parentage and parenting.
Yeah.
And not necessarily
relationship status.
Exactly. You know, so you're looking at coming into a situation where a child is being given birth to, and mother as well as their father are both available
Right.
to contribute not only to the child but to each other as well, especially the man contributing to the woman's
Right.
needs, you know, and lightening the burden on her after birth.
Yeah,
I think it's critical.
Yeah, and you know, from everything that the men have said,
Yes.
you can see that this is actually a concern.
Yeah.
Men are also beginning to notice that a lot of them didn't have their fathers in their lives
Yeah.
at the right time.
Yeah.
And also, I think this also contributes to the way people act.
Yeah. I think, you know, Chris, I also feel as though a lot of men are surprised as we become more modernized
Yeah.
at the trauma that their mothers and sisters have been through.
It's a
Do
problem.
you get what I'm saying? And I think that maybe surprise or shock, you know, is jolting people into realization that, hey, listen, we've got to do better. Yeah.
Exactly.
We've got to do better.
We have to do better. We have to curb the toxic masculinity,
Yeah.
because I'm sure it's also toxic masculinity is also part of the things that, you know, lead to that mindset of, you know, I'm just a provider. I'm just a provider,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm supposed to do. And the woman is
Yeah.
supposed to give birth, take
Yeah.
care, and just
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah,
everything.
Stay home, take care
Exactly.
of them, and then, you know,
Yeah.
we're all good. We're all good.
But I'm glad this conversation
Yeah.
came up, and we'll be having more of this conversation, especially about this topic, during the week. So definitely you have to stay tuned if this actually, you know, sparks something in your head. But it was a nice conversation.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
And it's good. You're going to be discussing this in Parliament in the next few days. So,
Right.
you know, we'll be bringing you updates on that as well.
All right.